The first thing you're going to need for this weapon is a pipe or a piece of wood, and it could be any length you want, but the length I chose is about from my feet to the mid-torso. That will be able to be used for a good one-handed weapon or a two-handed weapon. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out a cardboard strip, and we're going to glue it from about right here, and then we're going to cut out another one, and we're going to glue it on the other side. Make sure that there's no white showing, and it is fully enclosed over. So when it is glued, it'll look something like this. So after you've glued the two pieces of cardboard on here, it should look something like this. Right now, it's currently just a piece of cardboard right on here. Next thing you're going to want to do is build the actual part of the weapon. A very important part when you're building this weapon is instead of building it literally sitting on top of here, because when you're striking, it'll just come off. So you're going to want to build the weapon on right here. So this, it acts as like a base. So you're just going to have, imagine my hand is the actual head of the hammer. It'll be right here rather than sitting on top, because that'll just break off. So it'll be right here. So to make the actual head, you're going to cut out two small pieces of cardboard, and these will be glued to the side like this, same as the other one. It'll be like that. And then you'll have a gap in the middle like this, and you can fill in the gap, and I'll show you what to do. One side of this is you're going to fill in, and the other side you're going to leave this hollow, and I'll show you why in a moment. So you're going to take pieces of cardboard, and you're going to stick this in here and cut off the excess, and then you're going to glue what you just put in there into there. So you'll eventually keep doing that until you have one solid piece all the way through. So now I just filled in one side of cardboard, tons of little layers. Now to do the spike on the back, you're just gonna do same thing, but with this one a little longer, then this one a little longer, and then so on, and so you will get a spike that will eventually do this. A good way to fill in this spike on the back is just get cut lots of cardboard strips and do the same thing as before. You just measure this, and then you cut it about right here, and then so on until you have a spike. So I personally would not just start on this side and then make your way to that side, because the point may be like over here. So when you do it to this side, just copy the same thing on that side, and then copy the same on this side, but you know, a little longer until you finally get one in the middle, and just make that the longest. Okay, so this is pretty important. Once you've done about 2 or 3, the third one or the fourth one, depends on what you want, angle it just a little bit, and you'll do the next one, have that angle a little bit. So at the end, it'll have a little bit of a curve. So I'm putting the last piece of the spike in for it. And for the last one, you can just glue all the way up, because you're going to be sticking it to this one right here, the one you're doing right now. And so you can just put glue all down it. And then to put it in, you're just going to see this one right here. You can just slide this one in, push it all the way to the back, and hold on, it's getting kind of difficult to do this, and then glue this one to this one. So now you have this, and now you're going to have something open like this. Now you can just glue all on the inside and then press them together. Okay, so I just glued them together, and now it may look a little like blocky or square, but you can just take scissors and trim them like this, and so it looks more like an actual spike. See what I'm doing? And the same for the bottom. It can be hard to trim sometimes because of the glue that gets in the way, and so it can be kind of tricky. So after you've done that, it should look like something like this. Have a spike on this side, and then still be filled in on this side. Now, we're going to do the spike on the top. Do the spike on the top, you're basically going to do the same thing as you did on these. You're going to cut out 2, and you're going to glue it right here on the sides. and glue the one on the other side. So now you have like an empty space, and you're going to fill in the empty space a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that. And then you can wedge them together and you have a spike, but make sure not to fill it in like way too thick, and so or else it'll look kind of strange. I'll show you how to fill this in so it looks nice. Make the weapon look better because you're gonna have these lines. Cut out a piece of cardboard and slide this through, and so this will go right here, and then that will just be covering the top. Now make sure to cut it so it's at like a point also right here, and so it looks better. It's not like square. So I just cut it at a point just now. Now you're going to just kind of drape that over and glue that. So now that I've glued this piece over, it is still drying currently. That's why it's kind of peeling up. The next thing you're going to do is, after we build the actual hammer part right here, then we're going to kind of just do the inner piece for this. I recommend, if you want the weapon to look really nice, the part right here, taking another piece of cardboard and draping it over so you don't have like these little lines all right here. But if you're going to be using the weapon to actually fight with, I would not put another piece of cardboard right here to make it look really nice, because if you're going to actually fight with it, it's probably going to get destroyed and broken, and you took lots of time to make the weapon look very nice. But if you're not going to fight with it and you're just going to have it up for like a decoration or just a prop, or maybe for a costume, then take a piece of cardboard, stick it right here, and cut where it's smaller, and then just drape that over and glue it. Same thing on the other side. And that's what I'm actually going to do. So now we are going to make the spike part of the weapon, and I would cut about 2 cardboard strips that is a distance between about an inch, this one to this one, if you can see. Let me get it closer. So this one should be about an inch difference from here to here. And the reason why is because when you glue these two together and you put them in here and you glue these to the wall, when you push them and form one spike, now the distance, the inch gap on the top, you can just smush that together and glue it. So now I have 2 cardboard as one, and you're going to put this in here and glue on both sides of this cardboard, and then smush that together to form one spike like that. And now, like I mentioned, the gap on top, you can just put glue in the distance between the gap and then just squish it together. Now that both sides are glued, you're going to try to put it directly into the middle like this. This can be harder, and then squeeze these 2 pieces together just like that. Make sure the spike aligns in the center, or else you'll have a odd looking spike that's out of place. And so now, once that is done, you can put glue in the middle and then push it together. Now that once you've put this in the middle and then you've glued these together, you can just take your scissors and cut this into more of a point. Like that. Now I'm going to do it on the other side. So now you just made yourself the point and the back area. Now let's get into the hammer. Okay, so now we're going to be heading on to the actual hammer part. And you could just take a piece of square cardboard like this and then just glue it on there, but that's kind of boring. And I'm going to make this look really awesome, and I'm actually going to do the 4 little spikes that you actually have right on the weapon. So if you're using it for actual fighting purposes, I would just use the piece of cardboard square and just glue it right here and call it done. But if you want it to be used as decoration purposes, or maybe you do want to fight with it with 4 spikes, it's probably just going to break off them when you hit someone. So the first thing you're going to want to do is actually take a piece of cardboard the same size as this and glue it on there. So if you don't want the spikes, then I would just leave this piece on here and then call it good. But if you do want the spikes, cut out small little triangles, just about this big, or shorter or longer, depending on how long you want the spikes. And you're going to take the piece of triangle cardboard and roll it up into like a cone. You're going to take the edges and roll it up, then glue that piece of cardboard triangle into the shape of the cone. And so it'll be something like that. And then you're just going to basically glue that onto there and do that 4 times. So I just finished doing the spikes, and now the last thing to do is just do this rim right here. And how to do that is you basically just cut a circle out of cardboard and then cut a hole in there the size of this hole, so then you can slide it in there, and then once that's in there, you just put some glue around the corners. So once you finish cutting the circle, you basically just slide that up on there, and then take the glue and just glue around the edges. Make sure to put a lot so it stays, because that's pretty important. Then the rest of this, you can just spray paint this or wrap it in duct tape, whatever you want to color this. Make sure to comment on our video on what weapons we should make next. I do mostly medieval stuff. I don't really do anything else. So comment on what medieval weapons I should make next, or armor, or anything, or even like a type of battle we should try to do, or even country or flags. It'll be very hard, but I can do all of that. It'll be really fun to do. Thank you for watching. See you next time.